Today I have Ntando Nkosi joining me. She is a second year student in the B.Ed Foundation Phase program. Hi, Ntando.
Hi.
Thank you for joining me today. The first question I have for you is just for a little bit of background. So I want to know, why did you decide to study education, specifically at Stellenbosch University?
The first time when I came to Stellenbosch, I fell in love with the environment and the people, and it reminded me so much of home because I'm from the West Coast in Langebaan.
Ah.
And yeah, and then I looked at the education program, and I realized that they offer so much support and guidance, and they don't just focus on they focus on education beyond the school environment. And I think that's an important factor because they realize that children are affected by factors across the external environment as well. So I think that's why I fell in love with, and I decided that I should just come to Stellenbosch and study education.
Nice. And before you came, so you mentioned that you have visited Stellenbosch and you've been here before, but especially in the university environment, what did you expect before coming in terms of language and culture?
So my home language is isiZulu, and I've went to an English and Afrikaans school since I was in primary and in high school. So I kind of had a background of English and Afrikaans and isiZulu as well. So when I came here, I didn't really expect much. And then what I loved is that we are not required to actually speak Afrikaans. You can speak English if you want to. And the other thing is that so we had an Afrikaans class, and I still do. We had an Afrikaans as a module here at Stellenbosch, and the lecturer would also speak Afrikaans, but we were not required to speak it as well. And if the learners the students did not understand Afrikaans, then she would translate it into English.
Okay, so you'd always know what was going on.
Yeah, so I never felt that I had a need or I was forced to speak Afrikaans.
Okay, nice. And now I'm jumping back to last year. So your first year was in 2020, which is not great. must have been terrible. But I want to know how did you manage to stay on top of your work? So did you have a lot of support from maybe fellow students on WhatsApp groups or mentors and so on?
I think COVID hit us all hard, I must say. And I think the one thing that helped me is being disciplined and actually getting up in the morning at 8 o'clock and attending a lecture online and going through all my modules every single day at the time that I would actually have them. And the one thing that helped a lot is our WhatsApp group. So we've got a WhatsApp group of everybody in our class, and our class rep would actually post the test dates and the test assignments every single day and just keep us updated. So that helped a lot.
That's nice. You can actually have someone else to tell you when to do what, not rely on yourself.
Yeah.
Fantastic. The next question I have is in terms of the practical observation that you did. So you had your first taste of being in a school as a teacher in the beginning of the year doing your observation. So I want to know, what should one expect going into that? And did you have any expectations? Was it different to the reality that you got there?
I must say it was, I don't know, I just went in there without any kind of expectation. I went in there and I felt at home. The principal and the staff, they welcomed me with so much love and warmth. It was actually unbelievable. I went in there and they all just started calling me Teacher Nkosi, and I was like, who's that? And I remembered, oh, it's me. So it was quite amazing. And I remember when they attended the meetings, they would invite the students as well to go and attend the meetings. And if they had a gathering, they would invite us as well. So we actually felt part of the staff, and I made amazing friends with the interns there, and the students were so amazing as well because they haven't been to school for quite a while. So when they came back to school, they wanted to engage and interact with the students and with the teachers as well. So I found that amazing, and it was just a great experience. I loved it.
Great. I'm glad you had such a positive experience. Now, still on the teaching side, obviously, COVID has taught, or especially COVID has taught teachers to tap into their creativity even more than usual. And I want to know from you, what other skills have you acquired as an education student? Maybe you acquired some new skills when you went into your observation or at the faculty.
Yeah, I think the one thing that COVID has taught me is, well, it's not a skill, but it's actually a quality, is actually being kind. The small kids or the learners have been through so much, and they are actually like very uncertain on what's going on. So I think just asking them like, how are you today? Or just being on campus and you ask a student like, how are you feeling today? Like, it goes a long way. So I think the one thing that I've been taught during this COVID is to be kind, because everybody's going through so much. I mean, the workload at uni is a lot. You still have family and friends, like it's so much. So just asking a person how they are doing just goes a really long way.
Definitely.
So kindness is there.
And now I want to ask you, what does a typical day look like in an education student's life? So I know you don't have class every hour of the day, but what does it typically look like?
Well, mine, I've got let's do a Monday. So on Monday, I would get up at 8 o'clock and then I have class at 9 o'clock. So then I go to campus and I attend my classes up to 11 o'clock. And I come back and I get some coffee. I'm a coffee fan, so I always get coffee.
Nice,
I always get coffee. And then I come back to raise, and then I'll go through all my modules to see if I've got any assignments up or any tests coming up. So I'll go through every single module and check my WhatsApp groups as well, and attend an online meeting at 2 o'clock and 3. And yeah, and then I just study the rest of the day.
Cool.
So it's quite hectic.
Yeah, I can imagine. But it sounds like you're on top of all of your work.
Hi.
Quickly tell me, I want to know, how do you find this hybrid learning? So you say you are going into campus, but you're also doing online classes. So how does it work, and are you happy with it? Does it work for you?
Yeah, I think for me, I don't mind it at all, because I'm an extrovert, so I love seeing people on campus and interacting with others. So I love it that it's online and it's hybrid, and it's face to face. So we get to go to campus in the morning, and what I love is that we always do like a health check and we scan in every single time. And then we would go to classes and have it for about 30 minutes or 50 minutes, and then we come back out, and then you go back home, then you just go through your notes and you actually study. So I think it's working for me. Like, I'm enjoying it so much, because I feel like we get enough time now to go back to raise and to go through our notes as well. So for me, I think it's definitely working.
Cool. I'm glad. Very glad to hear that. Then I have one last question before we end our conversation. So I want to ask you, why would you encourage other people to study education and specifically come to Stellenbosch University?
I think it all aligns with your purpose. I think it aligns if you have a passion for working with children and a passion for making a change, then I definitely think that education is a way for you to empower others and to empower your community. And I love Stellenbosch. I just love it. I love the programs that they offer, and I love the environment. I love the people. So I definitely think that it's a way to go. It's amazing. So please come to Stellenbosch.
Great, Ntando, thank you so much for sharing your experience with me, and good luck with the rest of your studies.
Thank you so much.